A very good morning to all the respected faculties, college management and staff, and my dear junior friends. I take this opportunity to thank this versatile set of audience for providing me another wonderful platform to interact with a set of young and bright minds. The title provided for this session is The Role of Basic Sciences in Capacity Building. So are you ready to observe, listen and visualize? The next few minutes of your precious time should be with right focus, as it shall help you become a successful computer science engineer. So yes, the purpose of this session is tripartite in nature. Firstly, it shall help you to visualize your conceptual learning with its real-time application. The second purpose of this session is to help you gain a clear insight on where exactly does your role as a computer science engineer have significance in the society. And finally, to create and foster the spirit of enthusiasm needed to complete and make utilize of your technical knowledge in a right and positive way. On the whole, the session aims to help one visualize and make aware of one's road towards success. There are 12 program outcomes specified in your 2017 Regulation Handbook. We shall use them as the outlay for this session. Each outcome will be discussed in depth, that is, in terms of definition, subjects facilitating its growth and development, and finally followed by a set of definite and interesting examples. The first program outcome is communication. Students will be taught to communicate, comprehend, write, and present effectively. The learner shall also be taught to receive and give clear instructions too. Subjects facilitating this outcome are communicative English, technical English, laboratory of interpersonal skills, and another laboratory of advanced reading and writing. So let's understand the exact usage of communication as a role. Assume yourself to be the Chief of Indian Navy. You need to communicate a lot of important messages and information to your lower grades such as lieutenant commandants and sub-lieutenants. What happens if your message about a potential evolution of a cyclonic storm, say created by the side of Bay of Bengal, is not properly communicated to your subordinates? What happens if you as the subordinate do not understand what your commander or chief wants to convey? That is exactly where communication, the skill to read, write, comprehend and present, plays a vital role in your life. Here, communication is not always based on languages. It can be in the form of signs, sounds, images, or much more. So are you ready to equip yourself with that skill? Engineering knowledge, the second program outcome, is aimed to teach how to apply fundamentals to the roles of specialization. The term basic sciences in the title is purely based on subjects of this kind. These subjects stand as a strong base to modern sciences that we learn and equip ourselves today. Engineering graphics, engineering physics, engineering chemistry, basic electrical, electronics and measurement engineering are some of the examples. Public sector organization such as ISRO's mission called Chandrayaan 1 and 2 is a wonderful example to understand knowledge of this kind. Chandrayaan-1, a deep science mission, had played a vital role in discovering the presence of a water molecule in the lunar surface, whereas Chandrayaan-2, a highly complex mission, had aimed to explore the southern pole of the moon. Reports say that they had achieved 95 and 98% success in their missions. A clear example depicting that risk management along with the organization's perseverance go hand in hand only when its employees, that is, engineers like you, grasp and put to use their fundamental engineering knowledge to subjects of specialization. Problem analysis, the third aimed outcome, expects the engineering discipline to help you identify, formulate, review complex engineering problems by using the first principles of mathematics. Mathematics as a discipline itself is another example of basic science. Engineering mathematics, both 1 and 2, discrete mathematics, algebra, queuing theory, and cryptography and network security are some of the examples of this choice. Computer science engineering, your specialization, is a modern science subject that finds its fundamental root to this very same mathematics. Interesting, isn't it? Questions on relevance of engineering math in daily life has very many answers. Right from the very small barcode you see on products to technologies such as blockchain, all are byproducts of these subjects. Let me put you into a scenario where you are working in a private bank of a country that accepts cryptocurrencies. Bitcoins, Ethereum, Tether are some to name off. Your job role as a developer of that transactional platform is to ensure privacy, transparency, authenticity, and whatnot. So you choose to encrypt the data with certain encryption techniques where we generate two keys. One is a private key and another is a public key. Since you are first-year students, let me give you a brief idea on what these keys are. A public key is like the lock key of your flat's main gate. Every resident will have the same copy, a duplicate, to open and get into the premises. Whereas private key is something like your house keys. It will always be possessed by the house owner only. In this case, it is you. Hope this little explanation brings you a clear idea on what the two types of keys are. Remember, keys that are used to encrypt data are intangible in nature. That is, they cannot be touched or felt. These keys are created using various forms of mathematical derivatives. For example, encryption technique called an elliptical curve is obtained using the very same calculus you've been studying these years, or you to study these years. So I hope now you would have understood the significance of mathematics in computer science engineering. The next one is to help mold you to conduct investigations of complex problems, wherein you put to use your research-based knowledge to analyze and interpret data in order to provide valid conclusions. Subjects such as big data analytics, advanced topic on databases, databases management system, data warehousing, and data mining are some of the examples that shall aid one to master the skill. Let us take an e-commerce giant's example for this case. Have you heard about targeted marketing? Well, let me give you a small example to recollect this concept. Every household buys monthly provisions from a shop. Monthly provisions include the basic amenities such as toothpaste, cooking oil, hand sanitizers, rice, wheat, pulses, etc. Do you go to the same shop or will you keep changing the shop on monthly basis? Yes, we usually stick to the same shop, probably the one near our locality. So you become a potential customer for that shop, where they are assured that every first week of a month they can see you stand in a queue to get your basics. This is what targeted marketing is all about. They try to predict whether you will turn up to their store to obtain their product. For this, engineers like you are trained to assume the role of a data analyst, which is the practical side of the subjects you've learned all this while. Modern tool usage, the fifth outcome, tells us that your course shall teach you to predict and model by understanding the appropriate limitations. Subjects such as computer graphics, soft computing, artificial intelligence, machine learning, and human-computer interaction are some of the examples that you can put to use. We have heard of robots and robotics in fables and movies, but are you aware of its existence in real time? Hospitals now make use of robots to assist surgeries right from the head up to the toe. And for today's example, let's talk about robot-assisted knee surgery or knee replacements. So firstly, why are robots used? Robot-assisted techniques can potentially reduce recovery time and also ensure accuracy and precision. This shall lead to better long-term results. Another wonderful example of machine learning and artificial intelligence is identifying whether an individual risks the chance of being diabetic. Here, what I am talking about is diabetic retinopathy, where you try to identify whether a person is diabetic just by looking into their eyes. Diabetic retinopathy makes use of the color of the eye to determine its prediction. To man's surprise, artificial intelligences or intelligent prediction is almost 90% right. So do you want to create an AI bot now? Let's wait to see great results from all of you. The sixth one is design and development of solutions, which teaches that your role is not just of an ordinary engineer, but more of a responsible one. Expertise on subjects such as environmental science and engineering, foundational skills in product development, principles of management, and green computing shall all teach you your responsibilities. Bt cotton is a genetically modified crop. Bt cotton, which self-produces the insecticide, makes the plant resistant to bollworms. So cotton being a cash crop is accepted as a modified plant. Can we eat genetically modified plants, or is the plant literally consumable without side effects in the future? For all this, data modeling and laboratory results combine to give an answer, which is collectively called as computational and statistical genetics. Now do you understand your responsibility as a predictive engineer? One more example. In fact, a dream to most of us is to live in the age of Jurassics. If you had seen the Spielberg's sci-fi movie, you would have understood how difficult it is to bring back the extinct species. The question here is, will mankind survive if dinosaurs thrive? Keep thinking. The next one is environmental and sustainability. The seventh outcome that the program tries to build you for is to bring in solutions that will have a societal and environmental effect, thereby creating the need for sustainable development. Subjects like GPU architecture and programming, cyber forensics, mobile computing, and fundamentals of nanoscience are examples that teach bringing appropriate solutions. Imagine yourself to be a farmer who grows cane sugar. The time taken to harvest ranges from 10 to 15 months, whereas crops like tomatoes can be harvested in 60 to 70 days. What will happen if by the end of the 13th month there arises a problem of water scarcity? Will the farmer's hard work for the past 1 year go for waste? That's when technical solutions such as precise drip irrigation or automated targeted machines help in solving this cause. Technologists like you shall build models or products to help the farmer taste success with his or her harvest. Are you ready to help them now as an engineer? Another wonderful example is of the Ocean Cleanup Mission, which uses data science to identify plastic pollution in rivers and simulate how it moves in the ocean. This way, it shall aid to completely remove plastic that impacts our society. Are you ready for it now? The next outcome aimed at student delivery is the engineer and society, a correlation between the two. In abiding by the law of the land, alias the rule of law. Subjects facilitating this are computer networks, distributed systems, operating systems, theory of computation, compiler design, and information retrieval. Imagine yourself creating a search engine. The user tries to reach your search engine to check an information about San Francisco. You are suggesting some keywords based on the user's previous searches, probably by making use of an autofill technique. Have you got the user's consent to store the previous searches as cookies, or are you violating their right to privacy? Is the access following the statutory law of the land, or are they violating it? You as a developer must ensure that you abide by the law at all times, as that is the example of righteousness. The next outcome is aimed at project management and finance, where one is made to understand about project's life cycle and its presence in multidisciplinary environment. Subjects facilitating this are object-oriented programming language, software engineering, intellectual property rights, and software project management. Just like what we've read about nitrogen and oxygen's life cycle in subjects of basic science, each project has a lifespan, after which it shall move to the next phase. And each phase is really important. For example, we have apps that request us to update on regular basis. Apps can be of visual media or even a texting platform. It really doesn't matter. So here the project or product is the app. Once it's created, it is set for use. As simple as that. Monitoring and financial control to create this app for public or private use is often showered as a responsibility of an engineer like you. So are you ready to take this responsibility? The next one is ethics. A chance to learn and mold yourself to abide by the best ethical practices of the land. Total quality management, agile methodologies, professional ethics, and almost all subjects talk about the do's and don'ts, or synonymously, the merits and demerits. So should you really follow them? Remember, the moment you step into the industry, you are becoming more responsible to the society. Your goal for a life is not just profit, but to ensure that all living beings of your town, your state, your country, and our world are dependent on your efforts to create a peaceful, harmonious, and sustainable planet for the future. Remember, one should never have confusion in choosing the path, as there is only one path, and that is the right path. The last second outcome that is aimed to build you is individualism and teamwork. You need to put yourself both as a team member and as a team leader. Let me put you into one last situation where you are the coach of a rugby team. Before that, let me give you a piece of information. Rugby is one of the toughest sport or toughest group game I or the world has ever seen. It requires rigorous practice and a mind full of patience and perseverance. So how do you check the trainee's mental and physical fitness for this sport? Engineers like you shall be trained to create applications that shall boost the player's zeal for the sport, but also ensure that the sport is always sportive. So there you need to be both as a team member and as a team leader. Not just here, any industry or any organization in the world will expect you to assume both roles simultaneously. So start training your mind to be that off. The last and final aim of your 4-year degree course is to embellish the spirit of lifelong learning. Remember, life shall throw you a lot of challenges. Jump off the hurdle with a bright smile and learn to adapt and equip yourself with technological change. Because yesterday it was binary language, today it is Python, and who knows what tomorrow will be of. With the one last message that you see on screen, I shall wind up this session with a very big gratitude for being a patient listener to learning to grow as a successful engineer. For any queries, you can drop your question into the comment or into the chat box. And this is the LinkedIn ID. If you wish to connect, you can connect to this too. Thank you and wishing all of you a very happy day.